And before we move into our final topic of the day, talking Bears offseason, check us out on patreon.com/podcasts. If you want to jump in our Discord, the bronze tier gets you in there for just $1, basically 24/7 access to us. We do watch-alongs for basketball games. We start doing some WWE stuff, and I think that we're going to add on some playoff games as the football season concludes. So it's a great time. Check it out. And
it's the most wonderful time.
It would be a great Christmas gift for someone too. If you know someone who enjoys MVP, or even just sports in general, it'd be a great time to do a gift out there. So,
and just think about it, that Discord.
Yep.
If you want to get someone a year access,
and that's a cheap gift.
It's only $12.
That's a cheap gift.
That's a really cheap.
But
gift.
the thought counts, and that's the thing. You get 24/7 access to us. That's a pretty good deal. Anyway, Chicago Bears offseason is rapidly approaching. We've already written off the year. It's okay. I guess the big question comes into this, and we've already had these discussions about the front office and the coach and the GM and everything in between being all of our problems. So going into this offseason, what moves should we look to make?
Yeah, I think the biggest one will just be the fact of, will they pick up the fifth-year option for Mitchell Trubisky? That's going to be the biggest move. I don't know what they're going to do. It really depends on what he's going to do in the next 2 games. I think he's probably done enough for them to pick up that option. I don't like that he has done enough. I wish they would kind of just Kendall Fuller it and just let him play it out, because I don't really think he's going to be hawked over that much in free agency. So I don't think you're probably going to have to sign him at some point if he does play well, but I'd rather have him play well in year 5 because he's trying to prove something.
Year 4?
Year 4.
Yeah.
That when he's trying to prove something rather than, have him under books for $22.5 million, even though he hasn't done anything for year 5. So
yeah.
That's going to be the biggest thing you watch. But then it's just going to be extensions and who are you going to keep around, because Danny Trevathan's going to be a free agent. Nick Kwiatkowski's going to be a free agent. Eddie Jackson's going to need an extension. Clinton-Dix is going to probably walk. He's played well enough to get a deal from some other team.
I think Prince Amukamara as well.
Yeah, Prince Amukamara is a free agent.
No, he's got 1 year left. The Spot Rack has him as $10 million for 2020.
I'm pretty sure Prince is gone.
Okay. I'm just reading what I got.
I think he's someone they're looking to release because of his contract.
There's a potential out.
Okay. Yeah, it's a cheap out for us instead of paying him the full.
Yeah. So and it's not that he hasn't played well. I just think that they're pretty close up to the cap. So I think it's been talks of possibly letting him walk. He's been good though. I mean, he hasn't been bad. There's been times I think over the past couple weeks, opinions have soured a little bit on him just for the fact that his hamstring's been acting up and he hasn't been as quick as we wanted. First play of the game last week, they saw that obviously they tried to take advantage of that against Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Passes incomplete, but Amukamara wasn't quick off the jump. But he's a very good player. I like Prince Amukamara. I wouldn't mind having him back for $9 million, but it's just mainly who are you going to bring back? And also you have to look at that offensive line. That offensive line needs a new relift.
It needs a facelift, an overhaul, whatever you want to call it. It's been disappointing.
And Leonard Floyd's going to need a contract as well. Leonard Floyd, I think he's playing his 5th-year option now, I think. Or no, they declined his 5th year? They picked up his 5th year. Leonard Floyd is a player that I don't know enough about, apparently.
Here,
at least with his contract.
I've got you. Yeah, Spot Rack has him down for being on the team next year. Okay. Under contract.
That would be his. Yeah, this is his 4th year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they did pick up his 5th year.
Pick it up.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think they must have picked it up after a second half of the season. So Leonard Floyd is going to be a player that's at least going to be playing for an extension. So there's going to be a lot of moves that they can make, and I think the biggest one's just going to be, what are they going to do with their quarterback? Are you going to extend him? And then the defensive side, who's going to be able to be back next year? And then also Allen Robinson's going to be up and eligible for an extension as well. I would like to see them get a deal done with him because he's been phenomenal. So a lot of moves that are out there that can be intriguing, but those are the ones, at least guys that are on the team right now, the 2019 Bears, those are the guys that could be moving.
I'm going heavy hitter. Because yesterday, the whole thing that sparked this topic and why I threw it out as a possible discussion is I'm going to give Ryan Heckman credit at thewindycity.com.
Yep.
Did an article about 3 trades the Bears should start thinking about now. And all of them were players for draft picks. His first one was Taylor Gabriel with the proposed return of a 6th-round pick this year. Then he had Tariq Cohen with the return being a 5th-round pick this year. And then the last one was Leonard Floyd, where he said a 6th-round pick this year would be the proposed return. Not even thinking about the return, just the players. And those first two, I just started thinking, I'm like, you know who's one guy who's going to be a free agent that will immediately make them better? Phillip Rivers. The Bears need to sign Phillip Rivers because, Sean, you can put your head in your hand all you want. A short-term contract for Phillip Rivers would only do beneficial things. It'd be good for the Bears because he's better than Mitch Trubisky. He doesn't want to be in L.A. And there's a quote from CBS's Jason La Canfora. I usually throw the T in there.
Yeah. Yep. You're
talking about Rivers.
Mitch Trubisky.
Joe Burrows.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem, and this being Rivers, he doesn't seem like he wants anything to do with L.A. at a time when the team is actually completing its relocation to L.A. And I just look at this where it's like it's a win-win either way because if you don't want to pick up the 5th-year option for Trubisky, you're adding competition. So it's like, all right, Mitch, you want the job, win the job. And you got to win it against Phillip Rivers. He won't. Phillip Rivers would easily win that job in my mind, but it could either light a fire under Mitch's ass to okay, I got to win this job. It's just not handed to myself. Or if he loses the job, I think having Phillip Rivers out there would be more beneficial than Trubisky because he would make Cohen better. He would make Gabriel better.
What's the contract look for Phillip Rivers? I mean, and also I don't disagree with bringing in a veteran quarterback, but I think Phillip Rivers is too high of a bar to bring in. And I think that's too far-fetched for that to even happen. That's why I put my head in my hand because it's just like...
In a shorter deal, though, how much? Because right now he's making $11 million. If he does a shorter deal, that was what, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-year deal? So if you do like a 2-3-year deal, are you still going to give him $11 to $10 million a year? Will he still be asking for the same thing?
Absolutely.
Okay. I would give him that easily. He's worth more than that. Well, that's the thing.
What, you don't think that... I mean, what...
It was an old
Cousins
deal.
right now is getting like 4 years, $83 million. Like, Phillip Rivers would probably get $360, right?
I mean,
he signed that deal 5 or 6 years ago
when the cap was in a much different position.
Yeah, he signed that deal years ago where it was a different market. Now it's a different market. I wouldn't be shocked if Phillip Rivers could get 2 years at $20 million per.
Yep.
So I really don't think it's going to be a cheap deal and something that's going to be attainable for the Bears, at least contract-wise. And even then, like, if you then do sign Phillip Rivers and Mitch Trubisky beats him, then what the hell? Then you have a $20 million backup quarterback, and then you're Nick Foles.
I think you could trade. You could trade Phillip Rivers at that point.
If Mitch Trubisky's beating him, that's not a good look.
There's a team out there that would take him.
I don't know. I
guess what's the best, like, what is your desired outcome by signing in Phillip Rivers? Is that we're going for it in the next 2 years? Like that's our all-in, and we're gonna sustain our defense. We're gonna put our money where our mouth is, get the guys we need back on defense, and try to win it. And if nothing happens in those 2 years, we can just empty house. Yeah, well, is that the plan?
The issue is the salary cap. It's not the fact that they putting their money where their mouth is, because I feel like they've done that. Going out and getting Khalil Mack and then signing him to the extension, that was putting their money where their mouth is. That's where we were like, all right, we're going to hit the window. This is where we're going to do.
But that's what I'm saying. The window is
trying to win before the window slams on your fingers.
Right.
But where does the window close? How long is that window going to be open for? I don't really know if it's going to be closing as soon as Bears fans think it will be. Yeah. There are concerns with this team. There's concerns on how good of a quarterback evaluator Ryan Pace is. He seems to be great as a defensive talent evaluator. This defense is phenomenal. He keeps finding depth each and everywhere. I think Chuck Pagano's been a fine defensive coordinator. Is he as good as Vic Fangio? No, but I don't really think many are in the NFL, and I think the defense has still been fine. If you're giving up 21 points per game in this NFL and the way that they've been doing it, the turnovers haven't been there, but I don't really think that's more on Chuck Pagano. I think it's more on the fact that Eddie Jackson isn't allowed to play Eddie Jackson football because he's having to play more on the box compared to Haha and Amos. So I think that the defense is fine where it's at. It's just how much do you trust Ryan Pace, and then also is Matt Nagy a good enough offensive play caller to be the head coach or at least a lead guy leading your offense? Because I think the players like him, and I think he's built a very good culture in that Bears locker room. Guys don't really come out and say a ton of shit. Guys aren't really bashing people behind closed doors. It seems like a very well-knit locker room, and I think that has to be given credit to by Matt Nagy. So I think the biggest concerns is just the fact that if those problems can be fixed. If Matt Nagy is actually a good play caller and he just needs a new quarterback, that can be fixed. And I think the defense can maintain where it's at, especially if you're keeping Khalil Mack and Eddie Jackson. Those are two, Pro Bowl, All-Pro players at their peak. So I don't know if the window is closing naturally as soon as people think it would. I just think it might be closing on a Mitch Trubisky ceiling or a Mitch Trubisky window or something like
and that's
that.
The thing.
Or a Matt Nagy window or something like that. I just don't think the window, though, is closing as in the Bears are going to suck for another 5 years in 2 years.
Right.
By 2025 or whatever, this team's going to be horrible. I don't think that's the case. I think this window can be open for 6 or 7 years. The window just might change. You might paint the window blue. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we might get some standout players that just happen to grow naturally and not get a big stud or whatever. But I think that my concern with you going after a high-profile veteran quarterback is that spells the end of Mitch Trubisky in Chicago. Whether we trade him, whether we move on from him after the next year, I don't really care. The thing is, no one really comes back from, I got benched for a veteran quarterback and I'm going to fight my way back up. It's not, as much as you want to paint that picture, I can't think of anyone actually succeeding in that kind of a situation. Do you guys, anybody ring a bell in that? Because, I look at the quarterbacks who have come in replacing veterans. You look at Ben Roethlisberger did it. You look at Tom Brady did it. You look at, I had another one, but
Robo technically did.
I almost want to say Jimmy Garoppolo, but he got replaced by the GOAT. So it's there was no way he was going to win that job over Tom Brady. But
for someone who actually
has come back. He came out, played good 4 games. Yeah, he got injured. We in the media wanted to discuss how there was controversy. Are they going to move on from Tom because they got Jimmy G? And he's now doing well.
Stupid.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying.
As a member of the media, we can say that.
But just saying the fact that this was a debate. It wasn't an actual debate though in New England.
No, I know.
Let's not act like it was a debate.
No, that's what I'm saying. In the media, we wanted to make it a debate, but it wasn't.
And that's stupid.
Yeah.
So that
we're agreeing.
So yeah, but you're bringing it up as something that could be possibly an example.
It's the only one I can kind of think of that's even close because Jimmy Garoppolo. If Tom Brady wasn't the GOAT and Tom Brady was just a good to great quarterback, then it would have been an actual discussion in there. The only reason it wasn't is because Tom Brady is the greatest of all time.
I think that you could arguably say Manning in 2015. Manning was the starting quarterback, then Osweiler took over, and then they switched, put Osweiler out, and put Manning back in. Because Manning was injured, but he wasn't really.
Was the neck
he wasn't
injury, right?
great. Yeah, they benched Manning and put Osweiler in.
But that's the thing is you don't see a younger player go through a I'm starting quarterback, veteran takes over for a couple years, and then I thrive after. That doesn't seem to really happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it can't happen. It's just I haven't seen it happen in front of me for a team. So I think that if you're doing that, you're saying that we're ready to move on from Mitch Trubisky. He's a backup plan in case, Philip Rivers gets hurt or Cam Newton gets hurt. Some of those, available guys, Nick Foles even, if you want to toss him out there. In a trade, an awful deal, but, whatever. That's all I'm saying is if you go after a veteran quarterback, that spells the end for Mitch Trubisky. I don't see him bouncing back.
Yeah, and that's why I think that Cam Newton, with his injury issues, I don't really like him as a fit in Chicago. I don't like Philip Rivers because
the turf sucks out here. Don't play in Chicago.
He's just old, and I don't really think that. I think he's too big of a name. I guess if you're bringing in Philip Rivers, he's just going to be your starting quarterback.
Yep.
And I think he's too turnover heavy. I think the best thing about Mitch is the fact that he does turn the ball over. He does throw interceptions, and he throws bad interceptions. But he's not reckless. He just makes bad decisions. But he's not making bad decisions each and every game. There's games that he doesn't throw a pick. There's games that he doesn't complete a pass, but he's also not throwing a pick. Where Philip Rivers is at least good for an interception a game.
Yeah, he's got that confidence in his arm. He's I can make that happen.
Yeah, I don't like that though, because I think that a big part of what made this team successful last year was the fact that they were so conservative on offense. And I think Mitch only had 6 interceptions last year.
Yeah. No, he played
or 8 or something like that. The fact that they're able to keep the ball and possess it and make sure that they have the shot at least a field goal each and every possession. That's what made this offense successful. So, saying that you want 37 turnovers from your defense is unrealistic, and you want this offense to still take a step up. But still, I don't think that Rivers would be a smart choice because of his turnover ability.
Yeah.
Foles would be fine, but Foles at $20 million, I don't want Foles at $20 million. I think what the plan should be, draft a quarterback in the second round, you get 2 of them, and then bring in Case Keenum. Case Keenum is a guy that, with a good offensive line before in Minnesota, has played well. He can get the ball out quickly. He can make, he's at times, a pretty good decision maker. He's not a guy that's gunslinging the ball around, throwing 5 interceptions a game.
Yeah.
He probably has a game where he has 6 in a
Just
one
to prove you wrong.
time in his career. But for a majority, he is a guy that can manage a game, and he's like budget Alex Smith, smaller. Alex Smith obviously can't walk, so
I was gonna say
Alex
Alex
Smith.
Yeah.
But I would say Case Keenum would make sense, and a second round quarterback, whether that be Jalen Hurts, whether that be a Tua who falls, but I doubt that's going to happen. I think that's the game plan. At least
I think if you're aiming at bringing a veteran, you might as well just not. Like, if you're not going for a big name who can make sure you compete now, I think I do draft in the second round a quarterback.
Yeah,
but I would go forward and I would try to
I disagree because
I would spend the money on the offensive line and defense. I don't go ahead and spend that extra money on a quarterback.
But right now you're spending, I want to say $5 million on Chase Daniel.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could find a quarterback that is better than Chase Daniel and still sign him for that amount.
They gave him
$6 million.
Yeah.
They gave him $6 million. I mean, you can find a quarterback for cheaper that is better than Chase Daniel. The reason they gave him that much money was because they wanted to be a coach as well.
Yeah.
So I really don't think that. I think it'd be foolish not to bring in a better veteran quarterback that's not Chase Daniel.
What would you think of the one tandem I saw just flipping through articles just now of Mitch, Teddy Bridgewater, and then like a guy like Anthony Gordon, who would be a draft pick out of Washington State?
The problem with Bridgewater is his contract is going to be too high. I mean, I think you're going to be spending too much money.
Or then take Bridgewater out, put Marcus Mariota in, because he might be cheap. Like, the only quarterbacks that I'm looking at that I would want is Phillip Rivers, Teddy Bridgewater, and then after that it's like Winston and Mariota.
Man, that draft class.
Too expensive for Rivers, too expensive for Bridgewater, and
Eli's also there, but I ignored him.
And I would say that with Winston, too turnover heavy. If I'm going to say that for Rivers,
he's got incredible upside, but Winston's hilarious downside.
Yeah, I don't want Winston. Winston's a garbage quarterback.
And he literally just lost you the fantasy championship this week.
Game's not over yet. He's got 5 points. He's currently outscoring DeAndre Hopkins. But with
Mariota, Winston.
With Mariota, like, he isn't a guy that's wowing anybody, and I really am concerned about his everything outside of the red zone. His red zone play is fantastic, doesn't turn the ball over in the red zone, is able to put the ball in the end zone, but outside of that, everything else is just bleh. Yeah. I really don't like him. If you could have Mitch drive the ball into the red zone and then switch out quarterbacks and have Mariota finish it off, maybe that would work.
Looking at the Florida football program, and we'll just multiple quarterback. I love it.
The connection with Mark Helfrich probably is a plus, but I don't really trust Mark Helfrich at all, though. So I think that they're kind of screwed. I would bring in a guy like Case Keenum, though. I don't think that Mariota is just more of a name that's exciting because he was a top pick, but he hasn't really had the production. Winston's too turnover heavy, and the other guys are too expensive.
Yeah.
So
I'd prefer spend the money on get a blue chip guy on the offensive line. You need something to lock it down because
you need a tackle.
This team needs help up front. And then go ahead and re-sign Kwiatkowski to a long-term deal. Get one other guy. Go ahead and draft a replacement for
Trevathan's another name too. So you're going to need to make a move at a linebacker position, whether it be Trevathan or whether it be Kwiatkowski.
Yeah. And I think if you address those spots and run it back next year with Mitch, I'm not going to be incredibly upset as long as we do draft a quarterback in this year's draft. That's the whole thing is draft a quarterback, get a lineman, and go ahead and re-sign a couple of those defenders. You can move on from Prince, like we said, for the cheap out deal. You can go ahead and take somebody like the fourth round or something and just let the young kid play.
Yeah. I think another thing, too, is the safety position next to Eddie is going to be huge because again, he's been fine. Yep. But he's not allowing Eddie to play like Eddie was last year.
Right.
I want a guy that's pretty much a linebacker just at that strong safety position. A guy that I was looking at was Vaughn Bell, currently with the Saints. I love, his stats are insane right now, and I just asked Jake, like, what's going on with him, and I was hoping Jake was being like, he sucks. But Jake, unfortunately, said he's very, very good.
Yeah.
And that would be the perfect type of guy next to Eddie Jackson. He is a free agent, but there's no way they're going to be able to sign him with that response from Jake. States are probably not going to let him walk, and they're probably going to just give him someone's going to give him a massive contract anyways. But if they were able to get a guy like Vaughn Bell, be a great fit. And also he has connections to Ryan Pace just because New Orleans. So I'd be excited for Vaughn Bell because then you get to have Eddie Jackson roam and be a playmaker in the secondary, which would be awesome. And then that just leads to Kyle Fuller being able to be more of a playmaker, and it leads to
if he can ball hawk and know that his back is covered if he takes a bad gamble, I think that's ideal situation.
I think that would be the moves that I would make. Obviously make a decision, Kwiatkowski or Trevathan. Talks are that Trevathan is going to be more cheaper than Kwiatkowski due to age.
Health and age,
and then make a decision offensive line too. I think the biggest thing is going to be Charles Leno letting him walk, or releasing him and then bringing in a left tackle to go next to him.
Ricky, I know you're a Vikings fan, but
I'm looking at
drop your final say here.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the names for linebacker. I would say wish list. I don't even know if he'll be available because the Patriots could re-sign him. But
Sean,
Kyle
Patriots
Van
expert.
Noy.
No,
the Bears could get Van Noy.
He's an outside guy. I really don't think that he's. I don't think the solution's outside of Chicago.
We need somebody.
You just need to make a decision.
Inside,
you just need to make the decision on the guys that you have.
Because I'm
either re-sign Trevathan or re-sign Kwiatkowski. Pick one of them because both guys are better than Kyle Van Noy.
Yeah, because I'm
Kyle
looking
Van Noy's a guy
free
that's also
agency,
been more of a rusher.
Outside. No, it's like if left tackle. If you're gonna look outside.
Yeah.
The guy, like the top three tackles, if I'm going left, it's Anthony Castanzo from the Indianapolis Colts, or Kevin Beachum. Balaga is still there from Green Bay, but he plays the right. I guess you could move him over to the left.
Pass on Balaga.
If you really needed to. The other one I was going to throw out because you guys didn't mention it.
Yeah.
There's a couple rumblings I've seen that Bears fans are saying that the Bears should cut Burton at the tight end position.
Yeah. It just hasn't been worth it at all.
Could you see the Bears cutting Burton and then going after a guy like Eric Ebron, who is probably going to be one of the top tight end free agents out there?
I disagree with Burton. I think that people are overblowing everything. He's gotten injured, and I think that people forget on how valuable he was to this team in 2018. Mm-hmm. He wasn't putting up crazy numbers like a Travis Kelce, but he was always a guy that you can go to get a first down. He was always a guy that was pretty decent with his hands.
Yeah, he's able to run block. He's able to come off the line and provide value.
He was a fine U tight end. That's what they've been looking for.
Yeah.
I think that the fact that he's been injured has just been disappointing.
Yeah.
And the fact that we gave him so much money to be that player has been disappointing. But I don't think if you ask people at the end of the season and before the playoff game that he missed, I don't think people were talking about Trey Burton being a disappointment. Mm-hmm. It's just now that he's a disappointment. So I would say that it's likely they move on from Trey Burton, and I wouldn't have massive problems with that.
Oh, sure.
But I think people have such a negative view on Trey Burton because of the injuries that he has had. So I think tight end can be addressed in the draft. Jesper's an interesting guy that they have. J.P. Holtz has been playing fine. I think you address that in the draft. It's a cheap position to address in the draft. They typically have multiple guys at that position to make an impact on a team. I think that signing a tight end just might be it didn't work once. I don't think it should work again.
Yeah,
or it will work again. I would say go after guys in the draft.
What did I forget to take off this podcast?
Yeah, I know. I left it. All right. So let us know which plan you guys like going forward. Is it just to re-sign the defensive guys and roll it back with Trubisky one more time? Is it to go ahead and address the O-line? Is it to go after a big-name quarterback in free agency? Let us know what you guys think the best path is for the Chicago Bears this offseason. And let's hope that I actually hope Mitch Trubisky continues doing well for to wrap up the year so we actually have a decisive answer on what he is truly.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I want him to do well. If we don't have to make a move at the position, I would like to not to. I would like to have a quarterback in Chicago. I just don't know if it's Mitch.
Yep. Same question you asked us on the fast break about the Hawks. I'll ask both of you. 3 years from now, is Mitch still the quarterback?
No.
Ugh. I'd pass.
No.
Pass.
Okay.
All right. You guys answer that one down below as well. All right. Thank you guys so much. This has been Superfans. Check us out on patreon.com/mostofthepodcasts. And
what's our names?
Yeah, that guy over there is Sean. He may or may not have been here for another topic. Ricky's here, and I'm Dave. Yeah, thanks so much, everybody. Have a good one.